and we're gabbing with Gab just tonight. I got my co-host here, Richard Carrington. What's going on, Rich? How you doing?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here as usual. You know, feeling great.
Yep, and we still gonna kick it off. It's still February, and we're doing Black History Month, and we picked a subject today that a lot of people probably haven't heard of.
Yeah. This is a great topic. I was really glad when you came to me with this person, because a lot of times we're dealing with the ones everybody knows about, Harriet Tubman and Frederick Douglass, but there's so many people, so many black people that have made contributions to this world, to our society. I mean, great contributions.
That's right. And the young lady we talking about today is Henrietta Lacks.
Yes.
Now, for those of you who don't know about her, her cells were used back in the 1950s for a lot of different medical marvels. Yeah. A lot of different medical researches and stuff like that. Most knowingly is the polio vaccine.
Yes.
And her cells were used, and they were mutated and multiplied thousands of times for different patents in the world today. You said something about COVID.
Yeah. So it's important that, like when we talk about her, that, we don't rush through it, because this one woman changed the medical field, changed the research field. One woman did it unknowingly, which is even more, amazing.
Yeah.
And almost really unwillingly, because, as you go into it, you'll talk about how they did it, how they took her cells,
Exactly. And she was born in 1920 and she died in 1951. She was born in Roanoke, Virginia.
Yes.
And she died in 1951 in Baltimore. Yes. Okay. And I'm gonna give you guys just something on her life. She had 5 kids, and she was married to a man named David Lacks. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was told to me that was her first cousin. Did you know that?
No, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was her first cousin, and I thought that was kind of odd, but that's not what we're here for.
Exactly.
We're just gonna keep on moving until what her cells did.
Right.
So basically, one day she went to the hospital, and she was complaining of abdominal pain.
Yep.
So she went to the doctor, and they checked her out, and they diagnosed her right off the bat with cervical cancer.
Yes.
Okay. So along the way, they extracted some of her tissues because she had a tumor.
Yes.
So they extracted some of her tissues from her tumor, and they saw some unusual movement and things that they haven't seen before in regular cells. So what they did, they kept a sample of her cells and didn't tell her at all, and they started doing a lot of other research with it because they saw something different with her tumorous cells versus other people's cells.
Right.
Meanwhile, she died at the young age of 31. In Johns Hopkins in Baltimore. And once again, they took her cells and they mutated them and they multiplied them and things like that. And once again, let me say this again, they did this without her consent.
Exactly.
Her family didn't know about that or anything.
Right.
And that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
Right. They had the audacity to say, we're going to take her cells and we're going to decide what we're going to do with them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Imagine that. That's just like you going into the doctor for, a checkup, and they see something and they say, okay, we're going to take care of this. We're not even going to tell, Larry, this is what we're doing. And then 10 years down the line, we got Larry's cells and we're doing this and that without even honoring you. You know what I'm saying? It's incredible, because here this woman is very sick. She goes in and, instead of saying, like, we're going to help you, we're going to use this, experiment. Right. We're going to try and see what we can do to help heal you. And would you mind if we helped heal others, or help use your cells, to help discover, medicines or whatever, like you do, like with the organ donors.
Right, exactly. Organ donors.
I sign up. I'm an organ donor. So now my family knows when I pass away, I said I would be an organ donor. So if they need to open me up and take out whatever, I've already given them the permission.
And that's fine. That's it.
It's a totally different thing.
Hey, you're right. But during that time, you guys, and once again, us as black people had just been getting the short end of the stick.
Yes, absolutely.
It was medical or medicine or doctors were able to do that without the consent of anybody.
Yeah.
So and they knew that, and a lot of times during that time they were always looking for a medical breakthrough for something.
Right.
And they didn't know what they were looking for, but I'm quite sure they took that tumor of hers. They saw something different.
Right.
And they took it and they found out something good.
Right.
So, like I said, once again, you guys, the doctor, his name was Otto Gay, Gey, and he termed the name HeLa. And HeLa, it was a HeLa cell line. He called it it was based on Henrietta Lacks, HeLa, HeLa, and her cells just generated and mutated. And even today, you can see her cells in the Smithsonian Institution in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
They have all that on display. And yeah, man, it was definitely a medical marvel.
Yes.
What they did, they extracted her body and got more cells.
Okay.
Without her family knowing it.
Wow.
Okay. You know. So you figure. So going back, 1970 was the first time, and she had 5 kids. 1970 was the first time that they ever even knew what was going on with her cells. That was their mother.
Can you imagine that?
So you figure mother, and she was a grandmother as well.
Right.
And I don't even know if they got any respiration for that, any money for that, because that's a big thing.
That's a huge thing.
She's healing the world.
Yeah.
Her cells up to this day.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
That's just amazing. And you talk about the contributions of people of color, of black people, that this one woman really changed the world.
Yes.
Especially the medical world.
You're right. And it's a shame that her loss was somebody else's gain.
Yeah.
This woman suffered and died of cervical cancer at 31 years old. And somebody took her loss, her death, and made millions out of it.
Yeah.
And that's painful to me because, at least acknowledge what happened to her and give her family something.
Right.
Because you would have never found this if it wasn't for her.
Right.
Just one black woman.
Yes.
And her cells changed and revolutionized, medical research as we know it today.
Yes, it did.
And she is a hero to me.
She's a hero, and like you said, she's one of the unsung heroes. We always talk about, but there's so many other people that that have made contributions or have given their life, for the betterment of black people, people in general, the world.
Yeah, like you said, not just black, but blacks, white, and anybody that have a disease.
Right.
Thanks to her, they have some type of vaccine.
Yeah, and Johns Hopkins, was one back then, I believe, was one of the only hospitals that really cared. Well, I wouldn't say cared, but really served black folks.
Right.
And it's one of the best hospitals in the world.
Right.
As well.
Today.
Today, and so, but they did something that they really didn't have the right to do.
Right. And what they did in 2010, they finally acknowledged.
Okay.
What they did, and it was wrong, but they just acknowledged it and say, hey, this is what we did, we acknowledged it, and what we're going to do, we're going to form this alliance, and form this, it was some type of, what I want to say, it was kind of like a club or something like that, where they honored her, her name, and they started giving her credit for it and gave their family credit, saying, hey, this is what your mother did, and we noticed this, and even though we did this without you guys' consent, we appreciate it.
Right. They need to do more than that. They need to give up some money.
So till this day, we don't know if they got any reparation or got paid for it. That's something that we have to get into and continue researching. But actually, one of the HBCU colleges, I believe it was Morgan State, they donated a headstone for her because she had an unmarked grave for some reason.
Wow.
But they donated a headstone for her in her name and made it right that way.
Wow.
But yeah, man, that's just something else. 31 years old.
Wow.
31.
I mean, that's just amazing, man.
It is. And there's a lot of times you got to consider the legal and the ethical part of it.
Yeah.
And how is it that even back in that time, how would you can just take things without people's consent, especially black people. And a lot of things have been done to us without our consent.
Yeah.
The Tuskegee Institute, things like that. And I get, even now today with the vaccine, why people are so leery of taking it because of what happened back then.
Absolutely.
You know, but a lot of people can look at it and say, hey, black folks contribute to a lot of different things.
Yes.
And with this young lady here, Henrietta Lacks, she was a big part in the medical breakthrough with a lot of different things. And if you guys, what you guys need to do is Google her, Henrietta Lacks.
Yes.
And they have a show about her, about a documentary about her, and it's real interesting. Definitely interesting and heartfelt. And you guys need to.
Did you saw the documentary?
Yes.
Where'd you see it on? Do you remember? Or?
I want to say not YouTube, but Netflix.
Oh, okay.
And it could have been a PBS, PBS documentary. And it was Oprah Winfrey played. I think it was one of her daughters.
Oh, okay.
And it was another lady that was doing a story of her. So the lady was getting research, so she had to go find her family. So that's what the lady was. I forget her name. The lady was her name escapes me at this time, but she had got the information, was learning about her. So in order to do this documentary, she had to do her research. And she went to her family and got the consent and sat down and talked to them about how they felt about it, and actually told her family that your mother's a hero.
Yeah, she is. She's a great American hero.
Yes. And once again, this will be what we're doing, guys. We'll be coming to you guys with a lot of Black history stuff and a lot of Black history information. And this particular lady here is, once again, probably wasn't heard or wasn't talked about in the history books or in the history classes, but she definitely was one of the mainstream people in medical history, as far as I'm concerned.
I think every doctor that goes through medical school should know about her. You know?
And that's something that I'm going to find out. How many doctors or how many physicians know about her? Have they ever heard of the HeLa cell line? And see what they say.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah. And once again, you guys, when you guys see my videos, I want you guys to like, share, and follow me.
Yes.
Okay. Also, I have a cash app, $ King Larry 66, and you guys need to help. You can help me out because we're trying to move forward with these videos, and things are heating up now. It definitely was a good video that I wanted everybody to know and everybody to see and realize that blacks did contribute to a lot.
Yes.
Even with the medical field, we did a lot of building. We did a lot of research. And we contribute a lot.
Absolutely.
You got anything to say?
No, great, man, great.
All right, guys. Once again, that was Henrietta Lacks. And we'll be having more coming in the near future, especially later this week.
Yes.
This is Uncle Yab and my boy Rich, and we're out.
We're out. Yeah, this is great stuff, man.
Was that good, Rich?
Oh, this was great. No, it was perfect, man. You got to hit the right things, but it was really, that's